Hello, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Good, good. As the bridesmaid with the second hairiest boobs, it's my duty and my privilege to tell you a little about Shane and Wendy's relationship. Now, I've known Wendy for a long time now, and there's just an aura and a magnificence about her. And I wanted to know where this came from. And I saw it when I went to Sean's house. And I'd entered into this amorous location where love was flowing, oozing out into the foyer. And there I remember a day where I went into the kitchen to pour myself a watering vessel, some water in the vessel, and Cherry approached me and she leaned over, whispered into my ear, she said, "You're like the son I never had." I thought, this is strange. I said, "What about Tony?" And she said, "Who?" I said, I pointed to the corner. I said, "That scrawny kid there, picking his nose." She said, "He's the foreign exchange student." And so, Antonio El Shalomo was very neglected, but I was treated as royalty. And then there's John, who always looked up to me. He's always come to me for wisdom, and you know, on topics that I knew lots about, how to please a woman. And there was ones that were out of my depths even, how to please the Hawke's Bay rugby team. But I was there to nurture him. And it's these sort of abilities that these parents possess that has instilled themselves into Wendy, and which I've fallen in love with as a friend. And then there is Shane. Who's a man who's actually been trained and tamed by wonderful Wendy here. You know, he wasn't always like this, and I'll get to the story and tell you a little bit about that. But he was a man now who will let me into his home and let me play his PlayStation and let me win every time. And so kind enough to pretend to be frustrated. And that is beautiful. But this tale of love that you see in front of you did not start out at this or thus or whatever you want to say. It was a twisted tale of predatory action, and where heroes were made and villains were born. It started in a little village called Auckland. Now, a little village where you don't have a one-night stand with a heavy-set woman who wears a scarf, but it's a place where dreams are made. But, you know, and so, I remember it was dark, stormy night, and I was in my shack, and I'd just boiled some lemonade, and sit down with some wafer biscuits. And there was a rattling at the door, followed by lightning and thunder. And in walked this creature, with water over her face, dripping down her soft bosoms. And and I recognized this face from the past, and she sauntered up to me and grabbed my shoulders, which were muscly like Tony's. And she took me there, and I said, "Oh, McPherson, take me roughly by the cupboard." Sorry, no, it was Wendy! They come into the room, and she had fairs in her eye, which is cool. In her eyes, she was shaking, it was cold. She turned to me and she looked in my eyes and said, "I've been stalked by a creature, half beast, half Dutch." I'm not sure which is worse. A beast that will eat you and take your money. yes, he wants to present me in a mating ritual. And I said, is this what you wanted? She said, no. And this is a true story, actually. She said, no, I don't want that thing. And luckily I had a confidant with me, a tall, lanky Norwegian sailor by the name of Trygve, who sailed with me many far. Yes, you will remember him. And he's also said no to Wendy. Don't. We talked about this in our motor vehicles. Didn't we? Yes. And so we agreed that nothing was going to happen and this beast would stop, but it didn't. And there was a plan hatched in a beautiful place where actually Antonio El Shalomo lived. Might break the doors for the winter. And it was the 21st party that we all attended. We opened the door and we were greeted by the Spanish Shalom. Hello, welcome. Then we walked into the kitchen. There it was. It was a trap. He was in the corner with his hairy knuckles cascading upon the fake granite kitchen table. And the grumblings in his eyes and his beard and everything was grumbling. And he said, it was a trap. And he said, this is a fully operational Death Star. Oh, that's something else. And so, he said, this is a trap, and you'll never leave. Unless, of course, you can finish these 21 small trinkets of urine-coloured drink. And so Wendy said, I will defeat you with these drinking games. And she took upon these drinks and sculled them one after another until they were all completed. And then, of course, she had to consult the oracle of the bucket. And after many speeches and communique with the bucket, she saw a vision in the rainbow liquid. And in that rainbow liquid she saw a changed man. A well-dressed man. A man she could love. And she realized that this was the future. And that possibly that this beast who had been pursuing her could be tamed. And so she parted the facial hair and gave him a kiss. It's true. And he wiped himself off. The liquid was very merciful. And so there, and in that moment, they knew that love could grow. And so in the end, the predator that was Shane had become the prey. And I see now that she's instilling good things on you too, Shane, and that the Shalom, I'm just trying to get in the will, really. The Shalom love is growing, and I think tonight that I haven't actually lost a friend in Wendy, but I've gained an enemy in Shane. Who I actually do love dearly. And let's all charge our glasses to the beautiful.
Got a little bit of, you know, passing the baton over here. It was Richard's turn to read out the emails and things. Then he passed it on to Tony, and it looks like Tony's now passing it on to Dave. Who's after you, Dave?